Are you ready to make an adorable fun fold card? Today I have one of the cutest cards I've made in quite a while to share with you, and it just happens to be a fun fold. Let's get started. The type of card we're making today is a twist and pop card, and I'll show you how to make the base of this card first. From the outside, it's going to look like a regular card, but then when you open it, you get a really fun surprise. So what we need for the base, we need a piece of cardstock that measures 4 1/4 by 11, scored at 5 1/2, piece that measures 3 3/4 by 11. This is scored at 2 3/4, 5 1/2, and 8 1/4. And then we have a piece that measures 8 by 3, and I'm going to show you how to score this right now. I am going to score with my trimmer this time because for the second step, this is a little bit easier than a scoring board, but you can decide which way is easiest to score for you. So if you lay the long edge at the top, you want to score at 4 inches. And to score with a trimmer, we use this light blade. Now I want to score vertically at 1 1/2. And then we need to do a little bit of measuring, and we're going to add another score line. So I need to make measurements on the side of this at 2 1/2 and 5 1/2 inches. And I'll bring in, a lot of times I use my grid paper to do this. So I want to make marks at 2 1/2 and 5 1/2, and then flip this around and do the same thing on this side. Now we want to score between these marks that we just made. So bring my trimmer back in, and this is where I find it a little bit easier to use the trimmer that just has the one line versus my scoring board where it has a lot. So what I want to do is line up that pencil mark at up here on the cutting track and down here as well. So we're going to score at an angle. And then we're going to flip-flop it, line up the other mark, and the one down here on the bottom right, score that. So we've divided this piece in half both directions, and then we have an X as well. Now we need to fold this and use a bone folder to get this creased really well. And it got off just a touch, so I'm going to try and fix that here when I'm creasing it with my bone folder. I can bring it over just a little bit. So go both directions, fold in half this way, open it up, fold it the other way, and then let's do our diagonal ones. The more you burnish this, the more you work on it, the better it is going to open and the flatter it will lay as well. This card can get a little thick with the pieces that are on the inside. So using that bone folder will really help. Now the way this needs to be is we are going to fold it. If you grab it long ways between your hands and start to fold in the center, you want to push right here with your index finger, and same thing over here, start to push there, and it will fold into this shape, which is what you need, okay? And here I can see I am going to straighten mine up a little bit. If yours is a little bit crooked, you can work on it here and fix it a little bit. So that is what we will need for the center. Let me bring in my card base. And we need to place the panels at least on the inside before we do the next step. But I'll go ahead and place the panels on the outside as well. If you want all of the measurements for these mats and the panels I'm putting on, click in the video description below. I have all of it on my website in one place. You'll have the measurements for the card base, the scoring dimensions, all of that. So you can look at it in one place, and that will make it a little bit easier for you. So I've prepared these. The designer paper I used on these is from the Pattern Party stamp set. Now this is a set. Did I just say stamp set? You know, sometimes it is hard to craft and talk at the same time. It is from the Pattern Party designer paper pack. I wonder how many times I do that and I don't even notice. So the Pattern Party pack, it's a really large pack, and it's actually a Hostess exclusive. Now you don't actually have to host a craft party or a Facebook party with me to be able to get it, because anyone who places a $150 order can actually get Hostess rewards. So with a $150 order, if you want to, you can use that Hostess credit on this Pattern Party paper pack, which is adorable. The one side has really fun, bright prints, different colors, and then the other side is all black and whites. And black and whites I love using on my cards. Now let's go ahead and attach this mechanism to the inside. If you want to decorate these panels anymore, you would want to do that before you attach this. I am going to leave them how you see them right now. And I'm going to attach first. You can use glue. I actually recommend using glue for this, but because let's use glue. Let's use glue. That's the safe way. So you want to put glue on one of the triangles. Hi everyone, I wanted to jump in here just for a second and let you know that after I made this card and after I made this tutorial, I actually found a simpler way of doing it. So if you want to see the simple way of doing it, watch along to the very end and I'll show you some shortcuts. It's so cute. You're going to love the card, but I wanted to make sure you know a little bit easier way of doing it. Either on one side or the other. Probably the top is probably the easiest. Now you want to lay this in the center of your card at the top, but still so that it's easy to open and close. So I'm going to fold this closed, and right now I'm actually pushing that mechanism up towards the top. So it's basically as far towards the top as it will get, but the card still shuts. Now you do also want to make sure this is in the center. So I am going to bring my grid paper back in, and I want to make sure that the point is at the 2 1/8 inch mark. So I see it was over just a touch towards the right. So I am going to move it to that 2 1/8 inch mark. Okay. So now that I've talked a little bit, that should be starting to dry. And we can go ahead and attach this piece on the inside. So you want to attach glue there, fold it closed, and we will let that sit for a minute. While we're doing that, I'll show you what we're going to decorate our card with, which you may have seen at the beginning, but we are doing ladybugs. I am using the Hello Ladybug stamp set and the Ladybug Builder Punch, which I think is just absolutely adorable. Sometimes, if you watch along regularly with me, you see a little crafty helper with me in my videos. Here's the punch that goes with it. And she has a birthday coming up. Now, by the time you watch this, her birthday will have already passed and she will have received this, but she loves ladybugs. Her first birthday party, or maybe second, we did a ladybug theme. She has always loved ladybugs. So I am making this card for her birthday, and I hope that she will love it. So to stamp these, I want to show you how to get really nice black images when you're stamping these ladybugs, because sometimes with black ink, you don't always get that really nice dark color the first time. So here's what I did. I got my cardstock. I had my magnet here on the front of my Stamparatus, and maybe I was stamping this way, looks like it. So I looked at my punch, and this is also a paper saving trick, how I line these up on the strip of paper. So we'll combine both of these tips here. So I saw that my ladybug is upside down. It's angled to the left a little bit. So if I start punching over here or stamping over here on the left and do 3 here, I'll show you in a second how I can punch these out and not waste any paper by punching extra wings out. And then I did the opposite. I started over here with my wings and stamped from the right to the left. These got a little close together, so hopefully they don't cut each other out when I punch. But to stamp these ladybugs to make sure they were nice and dark, I got my magnet out for my stamparatus. I held this in place. You could put it up in the top if you wanted to against that top edge. But I stamped once, re-inked, stamped again. I think I actually stamped 3 times to get these nice and dark like that. So let's go ahead and punch these out. And I wanted to show you my paper saving trick. I'm going to trim this off to make it show you. You could stamp from the left to the right with your ladybugs. Then you will be able to line them up, punch. Line it up, punch. Now you see the wings punched out, but we didn't waste any paper because we already stamped that ladybug out and it was going to be waste anyway. Punch this one out. Now we're going to do the opposite with the wings. We start over here on the right and punch. And you'll see the ladybug body is still punching, of course, but that was already waste for us and it's not going to waste anymore. So if you can plan your punches like that, it really can help to save paper and just make it easier to punch as well. So we have 3 ladybug bodies. We have 3 sets of wings. I did punch some extra wings before we started because I think I am going to double layer some of those wings and give some of the bodies more than 1 set of wings. Now let's change our train of thought again. Let's go back to this, and here you will see when you open up this card, the mechanism on in the center that we created, that is going to open up. So what we need to do next is create the piece that is going to open up with it. So we want to hold this so that this fold is right here in the center, lined up with the fold on our piece underneath. Fold this over and place some glue, or you can use some really strong tape over here just on the top panel. Okay, we want to hold that for a second. Let it get attached in place. Now I'm going to be careful while that dries, but we want to do basically the same thing on this side except on the bottom left. And you can see mine has gotten a little bit crooked here. We're going to see how this turns out. This will be a good example of what not to do. All of this was because when I did my vertical score line on this piece in the center, it was not exactly lined up where it should have been. So we're going to see how this goes. Fold that over, let it get held in place, and this is going to be the moment of truth here in just a minute to see how that works. Now I'm going to set that aside to let it dry. Let's work on assembling some ladybugs and getting them ready. I am going to use 2 of these ladybugs just with 1 set of wings. Aren't these adorable? Now, of course, I could have used red. Red would have been the normal traditional color to use, but I thought for my little girl, I thought this magenta madness would be a lot of fun to have bright pink. Now, I just realized we are supposed to stamp some dots, aren't we? So in the stamp set, I can use the stamp that has the dots. Now, something else I've seen, which I may add to these, is to actually use some black embellishments, like these matte black dots, to add in the spots of the dots, which I think is really fun. kind of a fun way to spice it up a little bit. Now, I wouldn't want to do that on the ladybugs that are going on the inside of the card. That would not work out very well. So I'll stamp right here. And this one is going to be a test since I already put it together. We'll see if I can get this stamped right because it's not level underneath. Oh, that was pretty good. Since that ladybug body was underneath, it wasn't level. And I believe I will use one more. We'll do this one extra I had prepared. Let's get these attached and then we will see how that card base is doing. And this one I want to do double, so I'll show you. This will be on the front of the card. So if this one has a little bit of dimension, that should work out just fine. I just wouldn't want to put this on the inside of the card. So I'm going to bump this down a little bit. If you can see the difference here, this one is right where the head and the body come together. This one is down a little bit farther. And then for this one, I'm going to put dimensional pieces on those bodies. Wings. It's not my day for words. I hope you will understand. So we'll put those underneath, remove the paper backing pieces. And then you can fold this in the center if you want so that it goes down in the center and then pops up on the edges. You can do that however you want, but there we get a little bit of layering and can see that double set of wings. Now let's come back to this. So when we close this, what should happen is everything folds up nice and neat right inside, okay? Now, even though mine was extremely crooked, as you could see there towards just a few minutes ago, everything is working really well. I just have a little bit hanging out down here. So after we are done, I will trim off a little bit down here, but you can see how this all works. So just make sure you get your score line straight. I don't think I had my paper straight in my trimmer when I did this. So now you may want to decorate these before you get to this step. So you have these panels. Like I said, if you want the measurements for these, you can go to my website. But here are the panels I have created. They do have that black edge, which is hard to see on my mat here. And I want to place one of these ladybugs here on this little leaf. But we will attach these panels and this will be the fun surprise on the inside of the card. Now I left space over here on the right side panel to be able to sign our names. But isn't this just a really fun surprise when you open up the card? Like I said, it does get a little bit thick because I'm not mailing it. That's not a problem. But if you were going to mail this, it might require a little bit extra postage. It's definitely on the thicker side. Here, I'll make sure which order did I want to put these in? We'll put this up here. I am so excited about this. I think it is so cute. And the flowers, wherever we want to put them, whichever direction. So all of these stamps are in this Hello Ladybug set. This greeting, may your greatest wish come true, that is in the stamp set as well. I thought that was perfect for her birthday. So I'll show you this from the side. This does get a little bit thick. So keep that in mind. But we do want to decorate the front. I'll bring in the pieces I've prepared. Here is one of the leaves that's in the stamp set. I did cut that out by hand. I have a bow with our black glittered organdy ribbon. I use that ribbon more than just about any other ribbon, I think. And here is one of my tags from my many messages tag box. Now, if you haven't seen this, I know most of you have if you've watched along with me regularly, but it's a set that you're able to stamp 19 sentiments and cut them all out. Stamp one time, cut it out with one large die, and you have 19 different sentiments, and I've organized them in that box right there. Love it. I can link you to a video right here with more information on that. And let's go ahead and decorate this. So I want one of my ladybugs up here at the top. I am going to put this double one down here at the bottom. I want to add the hooray, it's your birthday tag. And I'll add this bow right here on top. If you missed it, I had actually made another video not too long ago with the same bundle, the Ladybug bundle, but I had created a bee with it. And that's a fun way, if you like to get more use out of your products, find new ways of using them, you can create all sorts of insects with this Hello Ladybug set, if you think outside the box. But I can link you to that video here as well also to see how you can use this set to make a bee instead of a ladybug. So I'll attach that right there. We'll put this tag on. I need some tape on the right end and a dimensional on the left end. We'll get that bow added, and then I think I'll just add a few of those black dots that I mentioned earlier. We'll put this right under the wing. So I'm in my new craft room, and I know a lot of you have been wanting to see it, but I had to grab my glue dots there, and I wasn't exactly sure where they were because I am not completely organized yet. So we can trim this bow a little bit, and let's add a few dots. Okay, friends, so here is the way I discovered to do this that is a little bit easier than what I shared here just a minute ago. Here are my 3 pieces for the card base, same way as I described. Here is this piece for the mechanism for the center. Now I showed you how to fold it, so you have a triangle at the top and these pieces fold in on the sides. Okay, do that, then open it up, and I want you to put some strong adhesive here on the top right and the bottom left. Okay, so it folds in like this. You can ignore this tape on this part for a second. Folds out, put adhesive here and here. Now I'll remove the paper backing, and we are going to lay this on top of this piece, the piece with the mountains and the valleys. I want you to lay that piece so that there is a valley in the center, so that it's lower in the center, and the 2 mountains, the 2 higher areas, are on the right and the left. So I have my adhesive here. I'm flipping this piece over so that adhesive is down. I want to line up my score lines in the center so the score lines match up, and you can see the border along the edge of how much of that lower piece is showing. Try to make your border even at the top and at the bottom. Just give that a good press. That will adhere together, and as we bring this together, the piece on the bottom, it is all going to fold up the way it is supposed to, okay? Looks like this. If we just bring these pieces to the side, all of this is going to lay flat. Now I can remove the adhesive from the bottom of this. Attach it to the back of the card. Now remember, you want your panels decorated before you do this. So get any decoration on the inside, and if you want the smaller panels on the inside decorated as well, it may be a little bit easier to do that first, but remove that, fold this closed, and there we go, okay? So you can put your panels on afterwards if you want to. It may not lay perfectly flat, but that is a little bit easier way to make this a really, really fun twist and pop card. So thanks so much for joining in today. I hope you enjoyed this project, this fun fold. You can learn from my mistakes. Try to make sure your score lines are straight. And yeah, I think that's all I've got. I've got links in the video description below for all the products I used. Hope you'll subscribe to my channel. Most of my videos go better than this one, but you know, we can't be an A+ all the time, right? Have a great day. Hope you'll be back again next time when I'll be here helping you to hand make with love.